It's safe to say that having toned six-pack abs is one of the most desired physical traits among most men and women today. Despite being wanted by just about everyone, few people ever actually attain a well-defined six-pack. This unfortunate truth is usually the result of people not understanding how to properly adjust their diet to match their goals. However, having a proper diet is only going to help you see your abs. It won't necessarily make them look better or more defined. Instead, this is going to be dictated by the exercises you choose to target them with, a concept that most people are familiar with but don't have a full grasp on. In this video, I'm going to teach you not only exactly what you need to know to help you reveal those abs you've always wanted, but also provide you with 4 exercises that I truly believe are the best and only ab exercises you'll ever need. Even though most people know what a six-pack looks like, they don't actually know anything about this muscle, let alone if the six-pack is even just a single muscle or several muscles. In actuality, the six-pack is made up of a muscle known as the rectus abdominis. However, because the human body is almost entirely symmetrical, the six-pack is technically 2 different muscles, the left rectus abdominis and the right rectus abdominis. In other words, your six-pack is actually 2 3-packs right next to each other. Now, you might be wondering why this muscle appears to be segmented into 6 separate packs instead of just one solid mass of muscle. The reason for this is because there are 3 bands of fibrous connective tissue that intersect the muscle. 2 bands of tissue run across horizontally and divide the muscle into thirds, while a large band known as the linea alba runs vertically down the middle and separates the muscle into left and right halves, creating the 6 segmented parts of the muscle. All this extra connection tissue doesn't change how the muscle works at all, but it does make it incredibly reinforced and resistant to most injuries. As for the functions of the rectus abdominis, this muscle is primarily responsible for trunk and spinal flexion, which is pulling your chest closer to your legs and vice versa. Clearly, this movement is present in sit-ups, crunches, hanging leg raises, etc. Your abs also work to stabilize your pelvis, specifically to resist posterior pelvic tilt. This is why isometric exercises like planks can hit your abs extremely hard, as these muscles are trying to prevent your pelvis from dropping and tilting toward the ground. Even though this video is solely about building six-pack abs, I should still quickly touch on the fact that there are 3 other core muscles as well: the external obliques, internal obliques, and transverse abdominis. The transverse abdominis muscle can't be seen, as it basically is just a corset of muscle tissue that wraps your internal organs together and keeps them in place. The 2 oblique muscles, on the other hand, are essentially your side abs. You can train these muscles with exercises that laterally flex your torso, such as side bends, and also exercises that rotate your torso, like Russian twists. Now that we fully understand the muscles of the abs, it's time to talk about the only 4 exercises that you'll need to train them. For our first exercise, we want to target the upper abs by performing crunches. More specifically, any crunch in which you pull your chest towards your legs, as this will preferentially target the upper region of your six-pack more than the lower region. Your best option for these would be to do them on a decline bench while using a medicine ball, dumbbell, or plate to progressively overload and make the exercise harder over time. For our second exercise, we can target the lower abs by including hanging leg raises. These can be done while hanging from a bar or with your elbows supported on a Roman chair. While there are unfortunately no great ways to progressively overload this exercise, hanging leg raises should still be hard even for very advanced lifters if done correctly. This means using a slow tempo, keeping your legs completely straight, and using a range of motion that attempts to bring your feet above your head. Because this exercise pulls your legs towards your upper body, the lower region of your rectus abdominis will be targeted more than the upper region. Since we already have exercises that target both regions of the rectus abdominis, our third exercise is going to be focused on the obliques. As I said earlier, the obliques are essentially your side abs. Even though you can neglect them and still have a fantastic six-pack, Having great obliques will only make you look more shredded. The best exercise you can use to target your obliques is definitely the high to low wood chop. This exercise involves holding a cable above shoulder height and with your arms completely straight, pulling it down to your opposite side hip by twisting your body. The reason why this exercise is so great is because the path of the movement aligns with the muscle fiber direction of the obliques. Additionally, you're also able to easily progressively overload this exercise by increasing the weight on the cable machine. Well, lastly, we have our fourth and final exercise, which also happens to be entirely optional: planks or ab wheel rollouts. While there are many benefits to improving your abdominal endurance, I say that these exercises are optional because their isometric nature isn't going to help you build much muscle, but if improving your core stability and endurance boosts your performance in the other exercises, then by all means include a plank, ab wheel rollout, or similar exercises in your workouts. Otherwise, feel free to stick to using only the 3 exercises I listed first. Now, before you click off this video in a rush to get to the gym to do the exercises I just mentioned, there are a few extremely crucial variables you need to consider. For starters, the elephant in the room is, of course, your diet. I'm sure you already know that you need a lower body fat percentage in order to even see your abs in the first place. This is obviously true, as most men can see their abs at around 10 to 12% body fat. Unfortunately, simply seeing your abs is completely different than having a shredded six-pack, the latter of which often requires sub 8% body fat levels. The truth is, having less than 10% body fat is almost impossible for most people to retain for long periods of time, not to mention how unhealthy it can be. Being shredded year-round is simply an unrealistic goal. The one silver lining to this, though, is that 10 to 12% is a healthy body fat range and is very maintainable, meaning you can still have abs year-round, they just might not be as defined as you may desire. This is precisely why training your abs is so important, as the larger your abs are, the more they'll protrude, making them appear more defined even at higher body fat levels. Another thing to consider is your genetics. Not only will your genetics dictate your ability to lose fat, especially around your stomach, but they will also influence your muscle insertions. This is why you'll see people with very different six-packs. Despite them all being similar body fat percentages, depending on your genetic muscle insertions, your six-pack might be lopsided. You may have extra space between your left and right side abs, or you might just simply barely be able to see them regardless of how lean you get. This is just something you'll have to accept though, although every person still has a capacity to get lean enough to at least see something there. So if you don't have great six-pack genetics, just being lean likely won't be enough. With all that out of the way, you now officially know everything you need to help you attain and maintain a six-pack. The main factor is, of course, your diet, as you can do all the ab training in the world and still never see them if you're not lean enough. With that said, don't forget that your ab training is what will ultimately turn your basic six-pack into the well-defined shredded six-pack you've always been dreaming of. If you want help getting lean and you want me to design the perfect ab program for you, then make sure you check out the links in the description below. With that said, thank you for watching my video, and as always, get busy, get after it, and God bless.